One day everything feels normal. The next day, shelves are half empty, card payments glitch, fuel lines stretch around the block, and suddenly basic essentials are being limited, tracked, or redirected. In that kind of moment, the first things you lose access to aren't random. They're the items that keep you independent. Medicine, water, power, fuel, cash, and the simple tools that let you stay informed and take care of your family. And here's the part nobody likes to talk about. It's not just panic buyers you're dealing with. Rules can change fast, and anything seen as critical can get controlled. This video breaks down the first 10 things that tend to disappear or get restricted early, and the common sense ways to keep your supplies secure, low profile, and safe, always within the law, so you're not scrambling when it counts. Number 1. Weapons and regulated protection gear. In a fast-moving crisis, anything that can shift the balance of power tends to get controlled first, and that often includes weapons and ammunition. Sometimes it's official. Emergency orders can tighten rules around buying, carrying, transporting, or even how items must be stored. Sometimes it's unofficial. These items attract theft because they're valuable, portable, and they give the owner leverage. For beginners, the key idea isn't be dramatic or be tactical. It's simply to understand that regulated items draw attention. The safest approach is boring. Keep everything legal, keep everything secured, and keep everything private. Private doesn't mean sneaky. It means you don't advertise what you own. You don't talk about it at work or online, and you don't leave packaging or stickers that scream what's inside your home. Secure storage matters too. A solid, lockable storage solution reduces theft and reduces accidents. And it also shows you're acting responsibly if rules change and you're asked questions. Keep any required paperwork organized and keep serial numbers and receipts in a safe place so you can prove ownership if something is lost or stolen. It also helps to understand where restrictions can show up in real life. Shelters and some public facilities may ban certain items even if you legally own them. And during a big evacuation, you don't want to be figuring that out in the parking lot. Planning ahead here means knowing local rules and having lawful, safe storage options that don't create extra risk for you or others. One more angle people miss is visibility. In a tense situation, a visible weapon can turn a normal interaction into a problem fast, even if you're within your rights. The more your plan relies on blending in and avoiding conflict, the safer you usually are. If your area ever issues new restrictions during an emergency, don't try to outsmart them. Those situations can escalate fast. Your real advantage in a crisis is calm decision-making, not conflict. Keep a low profile, follow the law, and focus the rest of your prep on the everyday basics that keep you fed, warm, healthy, and able to move. Quiet preparation beats loud preparation, especially when everyone is stressed. Keep it simple and realistic. Number 2. Prescription meds and critical health items. The moment supply chains wobble, medical supplies become priority items for everyone. Patients, clinics, hospitals, and sometimes agencies coordinating distribution. Pharmacies can run short, shipping can slow down, and some medications are controlled, which means they're already heavily tracked in normal times. In a crisis, that tracking can get tighter, not looser. The beginner move is to build a simple, legal buffer. If you take prescription meds, talk to your doctor or pharmacist about an emergency plan and refill timing that stays within the rules. Keep a written list of your prescriptions, dosages, and allergies, because phones die and cloud accounts get locked out. Store medications the way the label says. Heat and moisture ruin more supplies than people realize, and a lot of meds lose effectiveness long before they look bad. If your household depends on temperature-sensitive meds, plan around power outages early and ask your care team what a realistic contingency looks like. For basic medical gear, think in boring categories: bandages, antiseptic wipes, fever and pain relief, allergy support, and the kind of items you'd actually use for common injuries at home. Don't stock fancy stuff you don't understand. A small, well-organized kit you know how to use beats a huge box of random supplies. Consider a few extras people forget, like spare eyeglasses, contact lens solution, and basic dental care, because those become a big deal when clinics aren't available. Also, keep copies of key health paperwork, insurance cards, vaccination records if relevant, and a short medical summary for anyone in the household with chronic conditions. That's not paranoia. It's just saving time when systems are stressed. Don't overlook everyday over-the-counter items either. Electrolyte packets, rehydration support, antidiarrheals, and basic cold/flu meds can keep a small issue from turning into a bigger one when doctors are hard to reach. Health supplies also include hygiene and basic protection. During outbreaks or crowded shelter situations, items like soap, detergent, hand wipes, toothpaste, feminine hygiene products, diapers if you need them, and a few good masks can go from normal stuff to hard to find overnight. Stores often put limits on these, and organizations may redirect stock to clinics or shelters. The beginner move is simply to keep a reasonable extra amount of what your household already uses, stored dry and clean, and rotated so it doesn't expire or degrade. And keep it secure. In desperate moments, medications become high-theft items, so a simple, lockable cabinet is a practical step that also helps with child safety. If you want the prepper edge without getting weird, learn basic first aid from a reputable course and keep printed instructions with your kit, because skills can't be confiscated and they don't expire. Number 3, fuel and stored energy. Fuel is one of the first things to become scarce, limited, and fought over. When storms, conflicts, strikes, or system failures hit, you see the same pattern: long lines, purchase limits, empty pumps, and people trying to siphon or steal. Even if you never planned to evacuate, fuel affects your daily life. Getting to work, picking up family, buying supplies, charging devices, staying warm. Some places have even used odd-even license plate rules or set gallon limits during shortages, which shows how fast normal access can change. The smart beginner strategy is to reduce how much fuel you need, then keep a modest legal backup. Start with the easy wins. Keep your vehicle maintained. Don't run the tank near empty, and know your realistic range. Combine that with route awareness so you're not trapped relying on one gas station or one bridge. For home energy, focus on safer, simpler options first. Power banks, rechargeable lights, and spare batteries like AA or AAA for radios and flashlights. If you store any liquid fuel, do it only in approved containers, in a safe location, and in line with local rules and fire safety guidance. This isn't a place for shortcuts. Also think about stored energy that isn't fuel. Charged battery packs, a small solar charger, and devices that can run on USB power. On top of that, have a plan for what you'll stop doing when power is limited. The quickest way to stretch energy is to cut waste. Fewer lights, less screen time, fewer comfort devices. If your home uses fuel for heat or cooking, learn what the safe, approved backups are and make sure everyone understands the basic rules. The goal is to keep essentials running without becoming the loudest, brightest house on the block. In many crises, attention is a liability, so plan for quiet, low-power living not a flashy setup that everyone notices. Number 4. Food stockpiles and long-life staples. Food doesn't usually get confiscated door to door, but it absolutely gets controlled. Stores put limits on how many items you can buy, prices jump, certain products vanish, and rationing can show up in extreme situations. Governments have used rationing and controlled distribution before, and even when it isn't official, the store shelf becomes its own kind of rationing. On the street level, food also becomes the easiest thing for desperate people to pressure you for, because everyone understands food and everyone needs it. The beginner mistake is to buy a pile of survival buckets and call it done. A better approach is a deep pantry built from normal food you already eat. Think in layers. Everyday pantry, then a backup layer that quietly grows over time. Focus on simple calories and proteins that store well. Rice, pasta, oats, beans, canned meat or fish, nut butters, shelf-stable milk, cooking oil, and basic spices so you can actually eat what you stored. Add boring helpers that turn food into meals. Salt, sugar, broth cubes, and a few comfort foods that reduce stress without taking much space. Keep a realistic calorie picture in mind, too. You don't need to count every bite, but you do want enough energy-dense staples so you're not living on snacks when the shelves are empty. Rotate your food like a grocery store. First in, first out, so nothing expires in the back. Keep your storage tidy and sealed against pests, and avoid broadcasting it with big labels or social media posts. Another practical move is to split food into daily use and reserve, so you can keep cooking normally without digging into everything at once. That keeps you organized and lowers the chance you burn through your backup without noticing. Also plan for the simple mechanics. A manual can opener, basic cookware you can use safely, and a few foods that require no cooking at all, because there will be days when heat or time is limited. Finally, don't forget the hidden weak spot: waste. In a disruption, you may have less trash pickup, so plan to store food in a way that doesn't create smells and doesn't attract pests. Number 5. Water and water treatment tools. Water is heavy, essential, and surprisingly fragile in modern life. A power outage can knock out pumps, a storm can damage pipes, and contamination events can trigger boil notices. When clean water access gets shaky, bottled water disappears fast, and people start hunting for any source they can find. For beginners, water prepping doesn't need to be complicated. Start by storing a basic amount of drinking water in clean, food-safe containers and rotate it on a schedule so it stays fresh. Add a simple way to make questionable water safer, like a reputable household water filter designed for emergencies, and learn what it can and can't do. Not every filter handles the same problems, so focus on trusted products and clear instructions, not marketing hype. Keep a few containers that are easy to carry and fill, because the real problem in a disruption is often moving water, not finding it. If you live in an apartment or have limited space, even a few days of water is meaningful. Also think about water for pets and for basic hygiene. During short disruptions, having extra water for sanitation can prevent illness and stress. It's also smart to store some utility water separately, water you can use for cleaning and flushing, so you don't burn through your drinking supply. A small habit that helps is to check your containers occasionally for leaks or damage, because one unnoticed crack can wipe out a chunk of your supply. And keep your water gear where you can reach it quickly. If a boil notice comes in, you don't want to dig through clutter for your containers. Store what you can, keep it clean, and don't rely on last-minute shopping runs when everyone else has the same idea. Number 6. generators, solar gear, and battery backups. After basic supplies, power gear becomes one of the most targeted categories by buyers, by thieves, and sometimes by emergency organizations trying to keep critical facilities running. In a blackout, a generator or solar setup can feel like magic, but it also makes you visible. Noise, lights at night, and the simple fact that you're charging phones can draw attention. The beginner play is to treat power like a budget, not a luxury. Decide what you actually need. Keeping phones charged, running a small light, maybe powering a medical device, and keeping some food cold if possible. A battery bank plus efficient LED lighting covers a lot with very little risk. If you use a generator, the big rule is safety. Never run it in enclosed spaces. Keep exhaust away from windows and doors, and use carbon monoxide alarms. Follow the manual, not internet rumors. Solar can be quiet and low profile if it's modest and portable, but even then, plan for cloudy days by having enough stored battery capacity and a way to recharge in more than one way. Keep your setup simple enough that anyone in your household can use it without a tech degree. In a crisis, complicated systems break at the worst time. Also, don't forget the small parts that make power useful. Charging cables, adapters, spare fuses if your system uses them, and printed instructions. When the internet is down, a simple printed page that says, Step 1, Step 2, can save you a lot of stress. One more thing. Protect your gear from normal hazards. Water damage, drops, and bad storage will ruin power equipment long before a crisis does. So treat it like important household equipment, not like a toy. And think about light discipline. Bright lights at night can advertise that you have power, so softer indoor lighting and closed curtains can be a simple way to stay low-key. Number 7. Communication and navigation gear. When things go sideways, information becomes a resource. Sometimes networks are overloaded. Sometimes power is out. Sometimes the issue is political or security related, and communication gets restricted. Either way, the first hours of a crisis are full of rumors, and rumors can get people hurt. A beginner-friendly approach is to build a basic, legal information stack. Start with a battery-powered radio that can pick up local news and weather alerts, plus extra batteries in common sizes like AA or AAA. Add a printed list of key phone numbers and addresses because you won't remember them under stress. Download offline maps on your phone ahead of time and keep a paper map in your car or home as a backup. Keep a small notebook and pen, too. When people are coordinating, writing down a time, a location, or a license plate can matter. For two-way radios, know the local rules and stick to legal use. In an emergency, the point is clarity, not broadcasting. Plan simple check-in routines with family. Who calls who, what time, and what to do if calls don't go through. You can also set a basic meetup plan with one backup location, because sometimes the easiest communication is just knowing where to go. And think about your phone battery as part of communication. Using low power settings, turning off unused apps, and having a simple charging plan can keep a phone alive for days instead of hours. One last piece is information hygiene. In a crisis, don't spread unverified claims. Stick to official alerts and trusted local sources, because bad info can send people into unsafe areas. The more you can do with simple, legal tools, the less you need exotic gadgets that attract attention or create compliance headaches. Number 8. Cash, cards, and anything that buys options fast. In many disruptions, payment systems are the first invisible problem people hit. A ATMs go offline, card readers fail, bank apps stop working, or stores switch to cash only. Banks may also limit withdrawals in a fast panic, not as a punishment, but to slow the run and keep the system stable. At the same time, scammers get busy and theft goes up. Cash is not glamorous, but it's flexible. For beginners, the goal is a small cushion in small bills, not a suitcase of money. Small bills matter because nobody can make change when the register is down. Keep cash protected from water and fire, and don't store it in obvious spots. Consider splitting it so you have some at home and some in a go bag, because evacuations and hotel stays can happen with zero notice. Beyond cash, think about access, not just money. Keep one backup payment card, know where your IDs are, and keep a written record of account numbers in a secure place so you can contact banks if your phone is lost. Keep a little physical change as well, because small transactions happen when systems are stressed. If you're in a region where digital payments are common, cash becomes even more valuable during a short outage because people aren't used to carrying it. Keep your financial prep quiet and boring, and be cautious about telling anyone how much you have. In a crisis, the safest money is the money nobody knows exists, and the smartest money is the money you can actually use. Also, remember that money includes time. If a bank line is 3 hours long, cash at home saves you from that problem completely. If you're building your emergency cash and supplies, spread purchases over time. Sudden bulk buys are expensive, they draw attention, and they usually leave you with the wrong mix of items. Number 9. Precious metals and other portable valuables. Gold and silver have a long history as money when money breaks, but they also come with real-world issues that prepping channels don't always mention. In a crisis, most people can't easily verify a coin is real, and many won't have change for it. Jewelry is easier to recognize, but it can make you a target. So think of portable valuables as a backup option, not your main plan. If you choose to hold any, keep it modest and practical, and don't rely on it for day-to-day trading. Also understand that in some situations, authorities focus on stopping fraud and stabilizing markets, which can mean tighter rules around selling, moving, or reporting certain assets. That's another reason to keep this category simple and compliant. For many beginners, the more useful barter-like items are plain, boring consumables that people already understand. Batteries, basic hygiene supplies, baby supplies if your household needs them, and simple repair items. The point isn't to become a trader, it's to have a few extra problem solvers when stores are closed. Another smart move is to protect what you already own. If you have tools, electronics, or valuables, keep them documented for insurance and recovery. Photos, serial numbers, and receipts stored securely can help if you ever deal with theft, evacuation, or property loss. And watch out for crisis-time scams, because when people get nervous about money, fake deals and fake safe assets spread fast. Number 10. Mobility and the paperwork that proves who you are. In a serious emergency, movement gets complicated fast. Roads close, checkpoints go up, curfews happen, and fuel access changes. Your ability to move safely might depend less on your vehicle and more on whether you can prove who you are, where you live, and what you're allowed to do. IDs, passports, residency papers, insurance documents, and medical info can suddenly become must-show items, and if you can't produce them, you lose time and options. Phones help, but don't bet everything on a single device. Keep physical copies of key documents in a waterproof folder, and keep digital backups in a secure account you can access from a new device if needed. Add a printed contact list for family, doctors, schools, and insurance, because in a disruption, you may need to make calls from someone else's phone. For mobility itself, keep things simple. Basic maintenance, a realistic plan for where you'd go, and a way to move even if roads are jammed, like a bicycle or sturdy walking shoes. Keep a small get-moving kit with a flashlight, phone charger, water, and a basic first aid pouch, because car problems and delays are common even in mild emergencies. Also remember that mobility can be taken away without anyone seizing anything. One broken bridge, one closed tunnel, one emptied gas station can trap you. So plan for local, short-distance movement first, and keep your options flexible. It also helps to keep your important items together. Keys, wallet, documents, and charger in a consistent place, so you don't lose them during a rushed exit. In a stressful moment, minutes matter, and searching for basics is how people lose options. The point is to avoid getting stuck because one system failed. When rules tighten in a crisis, being organized and compliant saves you time, stress, and attention is exactly what you want to avoid.